Welcome to the Worst of the Riot podcast. Coming up, which male celebrity has the perfect nipples?
Also, the worst places to be stuck waiting in line, and more on the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Good day. Welcome to Thursday. I'm Hudson, joined, as always, by Isaiah. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. Before I tell you the restaurant, rate your level of interest in mixing fried chicken and pizza.
I like both of these things.
Yeah.
These make for a great party food.
Yeah.
Either one.
A great cold leftover breakfast.
Could be so. So I like both of these foods.
So why not combine them into one?
Into one. Maybe like a pizza with like little fried chicken bites on top. That sounds yummy.
Maybe some restaurants might do that, but that's not what KFC is doing. KFC is combining fried chicken and pizza into what they call the Chizza. And it's coming to America this Monday.
It looks, from what I'm seeing here, this does not look good.
They say it's two white meat, extra crispy fried chicken fillets, topped with zesty marinara sauce, melty mozzarella cheese, and crispy pepperoni.
This looks like something a 10-year-old would make in the microwave at home.
Yeah, like a Lunchable, but with fried chicken.
I think a Lunchable might look better than this.
Well, you can criticize it all you want, but this is something KFC debuted in 2015 in the Philippines, and since then, it feels like it's hit every other country except the United States. So internationally, it seems like it's done very well for them.
You're saying that this could be a top seller for KFC?
I think so.
Maybe the best thing on the menu.
Possibly. KFC, it feels like they need something, doesn't it?
No.
It feels like they need something to get people
They don't
excited
need
about
pizza.
KFC again. It's been a while. Popeyes and Chick-fil-A have been eating their lunch, and now KFC is to make a name for themselves again. They have to do outlandish things like this.
I like a nice chicken parmesan. This is similar to a chicken parmesan.
Yeah.
The pepperoni's okay. I am just interested to see the fried chickenness, like the fried part, with this, how that texture works.
It definitely feels messy. That's for sure. Because think about how, like, you have a greasy pizza, and this is even greasier because it's made with a KFC fried chicken. But I can't help but be intrigued. I do hate the name. It should be Chizza, not Chizza.
Pizza.
Chicken. Chizza. Chizza. I don't know. I don't like it.
Sounds like pizza. Chizza. Rhymes.
Yeah, I guess it rhymes. It's a slant rhyme. It is going to be at all KFCs in the United States, participating locations, starting on Monday. And I think we'd be doing everyone a disservice if we didn't try this very early on in its run. Maybe we'll give it a couple days so they can work out the kinks, but we got to try this next week, the new Chizza from KFC.
I'm excited. The picture, it looks fine. I'm excited to see what it looks like in real life.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not going to like the picture.
No, definitely not much sadder.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
How's this for pressure, Isaiah? Coming up this weekend in Saudi Arabia, it is the first ever PFL versus Bellator card, MMA fighting. The first time they're ever doing this. And one of the fighters has quite a lot on the line. Johnny Eblen. He's a Bellator champion. But if he loses this Saturday, his girlfriend, Jasenia Rebecca, says she is going to break up with him.
No. She's going to dump him.
She's going to dump him if he loses on Saturday. Her quote is, she's doubled down. Like, she initially was interviewed and she's like, if he, the initial question was, what if he loses? Then she says, then I'm out. And the person said, even though he just spent $85,000 on you on Valentine's Day, she said, yeah, he has to win. And then she went on to say, after being, facing backlash, she said, "Since when was being honest wrong? Do you think if I stopped being attractive or gained a bunch of weight, he would be with me? No. He liked me because I'm attractive, and I like him because he's a champion."
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
What a horrible way to look at life.
I guess so.
I think he should just dump her.
Yeah, should he just leave her now?
Yes, 100%. I mean, are you joking around?
No, this is what he should do. He's got to win this weekend.
And
then dump her.
Then dump her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be
He
that'd be
has
a
to
great
win?
move.
That's crazy talk.
But if he loses, then double whammy.
He loses, and then she dumps him.
And he's not I mean, he's going to be feeling bad about losing. And even though she clearly sucks, he's not going to be feeling any better about losing and getting dumped in the same night.
And now she has to dump him if he does lose, no matter what.
Yeah.
She can't go back on her word
the
now.
way she's talking.
After she's taken all this backlash, she can't be like, now I feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Or I want to stay with him. No, you have to dump him. So I think that he should either dump her before the fight or win, then dump her.
Yeah. But you got to think, if he really likes her and he's got all this pressure on him, then that's probably going to make him fight a little, he's going to be a little tight out there. He's going to be
nervous?
Yeah. He's going to be pressing a little bit. And so whoever he's fighting, I forgot the guy's name. It's because it's somebody I've never heard.
Bellator?
At the Bellator.
The Bellator? It's
Yeah, the guy's
Impa Casagna.
Yes, I knew it was something wild. Impa. Impa's got to be feeling good right now. Because Impa's free. Impa knows that Impa can do whatever Impa needs to do. And he's just got a clear mind going in there. Whereas Johnny Evelyn, he's got all kinds of thoughts swirling around in his head like a tornado that are going to keep him from really fighting the way he needs to.
Yeah, like, is he going to get dumped after the fight ends in embarrassment?
Yeah.
That's I would say just end things with her now.
Yeah, I don't care.
No questions.
I don't care how attractive she is. She sucks. She's no good. She's doing you a favor by comments like this.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Isaiah, if you secretly won the lottery, what is the one thing you would do or buy that would give it away? How would we be able to tell?
That's a good question. Probably a house.
You'd get a house.
Yeah.
That's not very fun. That's not a very fun answer.
That seems like that would be an unrealistic thing for me to be able to buy.
Yeah. So you just buy one.
I would buy a house, yeah.
And you tell us about it.
I would tell you guys that I bought a house, or I might try to hide that I bought a house, but I think people would probably figure out.
If you wanted it to be secret, I think you could keep the house a secret.
I mean, I could keep a house a secret easily from you guys. You guys have no idea what I do when I leave work.
Right.
From my friends and family, everyone would know that I moved.
Yeah, I guess they would. I guess that'd be obvious. And you'd be throwing these parties and stuff like that. Your hot tub would double in size. I kind of meant like, just how would I know? But
how would you know? I would quit my job. So that's how you would know.
You're not very good at the secret part of this thing. You're trying to keep it a secret.
See, I don't know.
You don't want everybody to know.
I don't know that I'd even try.
Because if you quit your job and then I find out you buy a house, then I'm going to start chasing you, asking you for money that you owe me.
See, I think people are going to find out no matter what.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think, like, everyone says, if you win the lottery, you should keep it a secret.
Yeah.
People are too nosy for that. They all figure it out in the end. There's no chance you're keeping it a secret unless you move far away from anyone that knows you. If you don't move, if you think that you're going to stay in the town that you live right now, where lots of people know you, and you're going to live like a real low-key rich life, that won't work.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you win the lottery and then you have to live so meagerly that nobody can even tell, then what's the point of winning?
Precisely.
Besides just the blessed assurance that you'd have that so many things could go wrong and you'd still be able to pay your way out of it. For me, I was just going to like actually answer the question. If I was trying to keep it a secret, I think the answer is that I think that you would start noticing me eating more food from restaurants.
You think that's how I would figure out that you're rich?
I think you'd be like, because now what do? You ever see me eating lunch out?
Not usually.
Not usually. Rarely ever. And you know I love eating lunch out.
I do.
So if you start seeing me coming back, and not even just like cheap either, not like McDonald's, even though McDonald's now isn't even that cheap. But if you start seeing me rolling in here and I've got Arby's for lunch multiple times, possibly a week,
That's how I'm gonna
That's
tell.
how you know you're gonna be.
That's how I'm gonna tell.
Hudson is coming to money. You'll say to yourself,
he's going out for lunch.
he's getting Arby's.
Wow.
That would be my giveaway. I think I could do a lot of other things secretly, but I don't think I could resist that if I just knew I always had money.
See, and I think that another thing too is how much attention I pay to you is so little.
Yeah.
In the break room that whenever you have something,
yeah.
I guess if you're buying things at full price, it would be like an eye to you, like, does he have more money than he used to? Did they give him a raise?
That's right. Because normally, if you come in to lunch, if I'm eating lunch and I had Arby's, I know what you'd do. You'd be like, "Oh, there must be a coupon at Arby's."
What's the deal?
Yeah, it's 2 for $6 or something, isn't it? And
there's always the sticker on your food that says reduced $5 because it expires today.
Like when they give away those free croissant sandwiches at Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you come in and I've got Arby's and I paid $12 for the combo, that's how you know.
That's how I know that.
That's how you know I've struck it big. I've somehow come into some money. That's my answer.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for that. And then I'll start asking you, could you possibly buy me lunch? And then if you buy me lunch, then I know that you've won the lottery.
No, I still wouldn't do that.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Isaiah, we're both men, so I don't think I'm talking out of school when I ask you, how would you describe your nipples?
I would say tan.
Tan. What shape do you have in mind?
Maybe an oval.
An oval?
Maybe an oval.
If you had to compare it to something.
A football?
You have football nipples?
I think so.
Mine, I would say maybe like, just so it's fair, so we're both describing our nipples.
Yes.
Maybe like pan-seared scallops with some lemon garlic butter. Might be what I have in mind. Now, close your eyes.
Pan-seared scallops.
Close your eyes and picture having the perfect nipple. What does it look like?
I'm not going to lie to you, Hud.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be straight up with you.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about my nipples.
You like how your nipples look, huh?
I have accepted my nipples, and I don't think I need to change them.
There's nothing I could do to make you change your nipples.
I've accepted mine.
Because if you have football nipples, I'm sorry to tell you that those are not the ideal nipple. The real nipple that is the trend right now for men is the almond nipple.
The almond?
Yes.
How's that the trend? I haven't heard of this.
The trend.
My friends haven't been talking about it, oddly enough.
The trend is having almond nipples. It is a very trendy plastic surgery right now.
No, it is not.
It is.
Plastic surgery.
Yeah.
That is impossible.
What do you mean it's not possible?
It's not even possible.
It is possible. I can tell you exactly how it's done.
Almond?
I could probably perform it for you right now based on what I'm reading. Dr. Mark Everett, he's a plastic surgeon in New York City. He says that I don't know if it's called a nippoplasty or what, but he says that the nipple plastic surgery is one of his most popular surgeries right now, and it's trending upward. And the inspiration, oddly enough, for these perfect nipples that people want is David Beckham.
David Beckham?
Yeah. Because he routinely, I guess, is seen with his shirt off, of course, and his nipples are almond-shaped, very symmetrical, not too big, not too small. And so that is the nipple that many men are going for and paying about $5,000 to get it. And while it is a pricey surgery, you could have this surgery and go back to work the very same day and just
Band-Aid it up?
Yeah. So
see now I'll tell you, I'll be straight up with you. Now I've had to Google. You've made me Google search David Beckham nipples, which is now.
I shared the story with you.
This is nipple. Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, there's like one photo there. I need to go to Google and see if this is an actual trending thing.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it is, unfortunately. And I'll be honest, they're a little small.
They're a little too tiny for your taste.
A little too tiny for me.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you might think men are getting this nipple reduction surgery. That's what they call it.
And yet again, if you're a guy doing this, I'm immediately judging you.
Well,
Immediately judging you.
You might be thinking that men are doing this so they look good with their shirts off, but that's not exactly the case. According to Dr. Mark Everett, the plastic surgeon performing many of these surgeries, he says guys want to look good with their shirts on. See, if they're wearing a tight-fitting shirt, he says if you're wearing something tight-fitting, you don't want the focus to be your nipples. And so that is why he explains that many men are coming in and getting this $5,000 nipple reduction surgery.
Yeah, I would say to that doctor, you're scamming these men with comments like that. If any of my friends get this surgery done, it'll be immediately making fun of him. I'm not afraid to say it.
You think you'll notice?
That's a good question. No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't notice.
And they're not going to be bragging about it.
No, it's not like we're going to go to the pool this summer and I'm going to be like,
yeah,
that looks different. Because I couldn't tell you.
And they're not going to be like, remember how I used to have oddly large nipples?
Like,
the pan-seared scallop nipples? No longer. They're not going to say that. So they're just going to be subtly looking slightly better for $5,000.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Justin sent in this story he wanted to share with us, and I find it interesting. It's from the New York Post, where the New York Post claims that Gen Z is bringing back landline phones. Apparently, they're experiencing a resurgence with younger folks, and that's despite the fact that as recently as 2022, a survey said that 72% of adults live in a house that does not have a landline phone anymore. You believe this?
That landline phones are out, or that people are bringing them back?
That they're making a comeback.
I don't even know where I would find a landline phone. Where would you buy such a thing that isn't a play toy?
I feel like maybe like Goodwill.
Best Buy, maybe?
I don't know if Best Buy even has them. It feels like that'd be wasted space until
like who's going in there
now.
to buy that?
Gen Z.
That's not a toy. Impossible. They don't even own homes.
I guess so, yeah.
What 15-year-old is bringing this back without a home?
You can have a landline phone in your apartment. Still,
that's the wildest.
They still have hookups for those. What's funny is they do still like. I know my house has hookups.
No, I'm
for
sure
a
they
landline
do.
phone.
Yeah.
But now it feels like that's mostly used for, I think, like the internet. Sometimes maybe goes.
Yeah,
through
it could be.
I don't know. I don't even know. But the explanation for why actually does make some sense as to why they would like younger people would think these are cool, and it's because like the shows that you watch when you're growing up, everybody has landline phones. Like if you don't have to go back that long, because in 2006, for example, only like 15% of people lived in houses that didn't have landlines. So every TV show in 2006 still had people with landline phones in their houses. And so like you talk about the examples given here, shows like One Tree Hill, The OC, Gilmore Girls, shows that even if you're younger, you might remember watching or might have gone back and watched, and you're like, oh, that looks fun and cool. And so I guess that's why there seems to be maybe a slight resurgence in the landline phone. I don't know if I believe this, though.
I don't believe it at all. But I will say I do remember when people started getting rid of the landline. Like I still remember the very first person that told me that their family was getting rid of the landline because they all had cell phones. I didn't even have a cell phone at the time they were getting rid of it, and I thought it was blasphemy.
Yeah.
I was like, are you crazy? No landline, that's nuts.
Likewise.
I loved the landline at my parents' house.
It felt like my parents were some of the very last of anybody I knew to get rid of their landline
So was
phone.
mine, yep.
Yeah, they kept that thing. And they did have an excuse. They're like, well, we have family in Canada. It's cheaper to use the landline to call Canada than it is to use our cell phones, which I suppose was true. But yeah, they kept that landline for a long time.
Laura says we could go get one at Walmart or Myers. She must have recently purchased a landline
They
phone.
still have them, huh?
They must. And there was no better feeling growing up than when one of your friends would call the landline and you'd pick up the phone and they would be inviting you over to their house.
Yes, that is true.
Wasn't that the greatest thing? You ask your mom.
I was allowed to have a cell phone.
Yes, you ask your mom or dad and you're like, hey, can I go over to Andrew's house? They're like, we'll have to see. We'll see tonight, maybe later. And I'd call Andrew back and be like, I'm coming.
But kids can still have that experience. It's just on their mom's cell phone instead of on a landline.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Let me ask you this. Is it cooler? Because it sounds like, according to this, it's not just landlines. It's corded landline phones, which sounds so...
Oh, the worst one.
Impractical, yeah.
The one that nobody picked up. Like, we had the corded one. And there was also the ones that weren't corded.
Yeah.
If you ever owned a landline phone, you know that you didn't pick up the corded one.
But the corded phone is just more of a vibe. It's more of a...
That's ridiculous.
It's more of an aesthetic.
Yeah, for a toy.
Yeah.
Not for practical use.
Yeah.
Everybody picked up the other ones.
You get all tangled up in the cord.
The wireless ones.
The cord would get all tangled up, looking ridiculous.
We had the corded one. I never answered it. I grabbed the wireless one every time.
Yeah, I don't know if this is like an art piece you have in your house. It's not actually something you use.
This is like a toy you get your child who's 5. You're like, you want a phone? Here you go.
There's never been a can of worms they didn't open. The Riot, Radio U.
You know, Isaiah, I did something recently that I haven't done in a long time. I rarely do it. I went to the store. I went to like the TV section. And I just perused through all of the nice TVs. I wasn't going to buy one, but I was just looking at all of them.
Just dilly-dallying around.
I was just dilly-dallying because they look so nice. And even though, I've got a pretty big TV. I've got a decent TV. I don't know what size it is, but it's big. And what's crazy is almost every single one of those TVs in the store, it was at BJ's where I was doing this, almost every single one would be an upgrade over the TV I have. I had to, and here's what's crazy, is that I could have bought a TV, replaced my TV with that brand new TV that would be an upgrade, and that would be so exciting for like, what, a week? How long do you think it would take me to get used to it?
To the new TV?
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of exciting moments with that new TV.
Setting up all the settings. I love when you get a new TV, a new device.
The first sports game you watch on it.
Yeah.
That'd be exciting.
It is pretty exciting. But then again, it wouldn't take long before I just get used to it. And then I could go back to the TV aisle again and dilly-dally in there. And then I'd be thinking about most of these would be an upgrade over the TV I already have that I just got not that long ago.
Little bigger.
Yeah. That all those TV, they would be an upgrade. They'd make me happy temporarily, but you know what? I didn't really need it. I didn't get them.
You didn't pull the trigger.
I didn't pull. I was never gonna pull the trigger anyways, but it was fun. It was fun to go take a look.
Play pretend.
Yeah. But I don't. It's funny because I don't even have to go. I don't have to go to the TV aisle to do that. You go on TikTok. There's constantly things telling you how you could upgrade, how you could be happier. Whether it's the ads on there telling you need to buy something, or the people on there telling you that it's not even ads. It's just like, you've got to try this restaurant. You've got to go here on vacation. You should be making more money. Your employer should be paying you more. You should be getting more vacation time. You should, dump your girlfriend, because there's just constantly things telling you why you could be happier if you just did these few things.
You could listen to our Worst of The RIOT podcast about 3 things that'll make your life happier.
We've got the 3 keys to healthy life. Everything, just about every form of media actually is either a commercial or it's trying to, whether it's paid or not, it's an ad for some other form of a better aspect of life, or it's more of what we do, and it's an ad for you to just consume more of the media that you're already consuming. But it's just, that's what the world is telling you. But what's crazy is that Jesus tells you really the opposite, because it's not very marketable to go, actually, you should be pretty happy with what you have. Actually, you got most of what you need. That's not a very, you can't make money doing that.
Teaching contentness will not make you money.
Yeah, but that is exactly what Jesus teaches. He wants to teach you how to be happy with what you have. It doesn't mean you can't get more. It doesn't mean more money isn't better. It doesn't mean having a bigger TV isn't more fun. But it does teach you that what you have isn't that bad. What you have, you can be happy with that, because what you have, the bigger and better things aren't that important. What you have, what you can be thankful for, is important. Jesus wants to teach you how to be happy, how to be content with the life you have now, and how to go forward and enjoy getting more things as you have a more successful life as you go through life. Jesus wants to help you with being happy today. He can make you happy today. And all you need to do is ask, say, hey, God, teach me, show me how to be happy with the life I'm living now. And he will do it. If you want to know more, check out radiou.com/free gift.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
You ever done this, Isaiah? You ever walked into a restaurant and been ready, like you were hungry and whatever, and then you saw the prices of the restaurant, and so you turned around and walked out?
I've never put myself in the position where I could possibly do that. Like, I've never went somewhere that could possibly be fancy and not known that it was going to be super fancy or super expensive.
Yeah. Well, you never had like a place that's like, oh, you go in. I mean, it could even be fast food. It's like, I'm walking in. This looks like it could be for me. And then you see the price. You're like, well, that's more than I was expecting.
I did this at Five Guys once.
You did? The first time you ever went to Five Guys?
No, not the first time.
You just
My roommate and I hadn't been to Five Guys in a long time. And we walked inside and I looked at the prices and I was like, maybe I don't want to.
You actually...
I didn't remember it being this expensive. I knew Five Guys was expensive.
Yeah.
But this expensive?
It's kind of crazy
not
expensive.
Tonight.
Five Guys.
Not tonight.
Yeah. Five Guys is like, you might as well be getting a 5-star meal.
And the thing there was like, it was within walking distance of like 4 other places we were considering.
Sure.
And so it was kind of like we walked in and we were like, no. Walked out and walked right next door.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because there's a couple guys here that have caused a little bit of a divide on TikTok because they went in and it was a sit-down restaurant, it looks like, and they sat down and then, got the menus, and then they're like, oh no, we can't afford this. And so then they left without ordering anything. But I've never gone that far, but I've
never had to do that. No.
Yeah, I've never done that either. But here's my equivalent. Is I guess this really isn't the same, but I like when you're like in a touristy area and you're walking around at the restaurants trying to decide where to eat, and they have the menus posted outside of the restaurant with the prices so you can see, so that I don't do this, that I don't have to go, because it's touristy and it's going to be more expensive than you think. And so then at least I can look at the menu that's behind the glass outside the restaurant and go, oh yeah, $25 for just a regular burger. I'm not going to go sit down in this place. Let's keep going. Let's see if we can find something else. That's my equivalent. I don't think I've ever walked into a place, turned around and left though.
What do you do in that situation?
When you've been like these guys?
Like, what would you do if you sat down and you were like, whoa, this is wild? Do you have the guts, the gusto to just be like, we're going to leave?
That's tough because you have to have, like, you must have had a waiter or waitress.
You have to sit down.
Yeah, gave you the menus.
With waters.
Probably the waters. Yeah, and then do you have to leave just some kind of tip? Because they did do some kind of service.
They did put the menus in front of you.
Yeah, and gave you waters. And silverware, maybe. Ooh, that's tough.
What's the likelihood that you drank a sip of that water before you looked at the menu?
Yeah.
Maybe chatted with your wife for a bit.
Yeah, before you pulled the trigger and said, you know what, this is expensive.
Let's figure out what we want to eat, yeah.
This is too expensive. Whew, I don't know, that's tough. I don't know if I have that in me.
The gusto to walk out.
You know, the thing is, too, like maybe you go back in time 20, 30 years before, like, everybody had a phone and the internet and whatever, and you couldn't look at menus online. How often do you go to a restaurant where you haven't looked at the menu online? It's totally
That's
unfamiliar.
What Grace said. She said, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there's this thing called the internet where you can look up menus and prices at restaurants before you get there.
Yeah.
No, I've heard of it, Grace.
Yeah.
She said, as someone with food allergies, that is an absolute imperative that I check menus and ingredients before going.
The allergies, yeah. Yeah, I would say it's rare that I don't go to a restaurant or that I go to a restaurant and haven't looked at the menu ahead of time because I also just enjoy doing that. It's just
we do that for fun.
Yeah, the thrill of
on the Riot.
The thrill of the possibilities of just looking. We've got a birthday lunch coming up next Monday. I might start looking at the menu today.
We're gonna start looking before
for a place I've been several times, but they don't always have the prices online.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And I hate when they do that.
And then if I'm deciding between restaurants though, and they don't have the prices posted, sometimes that's enough to make me go, well, maybe I'll choose one of the other options. Because at least I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, and so I would say anytime that I'm going somewhere I haven't usually been, I look at the menu, unless it's like one of those times where you're at a location, you're picking then, like you're literally looking up and saying, should we go here or here?
You're walking around somewhere on foot.
On vacation or something like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I've never been in that situation. If I did sit down and then I realized it was too expensive, I would look for the cheapest thing on the menu before I walked out.
I don't know if I have. Well, I feel like it's less embarrassing to walk out than it is to order the absolute cheapest thing on the menu.
If they have chicken tenders, I'm ordering the chicken tenders, as long as they're less than like $20.
All that said, respect to these guys. I don't fault them for all.
No.
I think this is a positive trait that they did this.
You don't always have to agree with Isaiah to always disagree with Hudson. The Riot. Radio U.
This is a big announcement in the world of movies recently that coming in 2027, not one, not two, not three, but 4 movies will be released all about the Beatles. There's going to be 4 separate biopics, some call them biopics, about each of the members of the Beatles. These are not documentaries. These are going to be like movies that tell the story of the Beatles from each of the band members' perspectives. They're all going to be directed by Sam Mendes, who's a pretty big name. You might remember him from directing the James Bond films Spectre and Skyfall. Also the Academy Award nominated 1917. Isaiah, you think this is actually going to work out?
4 movies?
Yeah, in the same year.
All from a different perspective, telling a slightly different story of the same thing.
A different perspective from John, Paul, George, and Ringo. The stories will all be, of course, interconnected, but they'll all be unique because they're all told through a different person's eyes.
I think it'll work.
You think so?
The reason I think it'll work is because some people are so Beatles crazy that they're going to watch it no matter what.
Aren't you concerned to be like Beatles overload, though? That's a lot of movies to go see.
But doesn't it feel? It feels like the Beatles have been malnourished for a while. I feel like we haven't had Beatles stuff for a minute.
Yeah, the malnourished Beatles.
Our Beatles super fans. Yeah. What have they given you recently? Not a lot.
I don't know. My dad.
They're fevering for it.
He's not I wouldn't say he's a super fan, but a big fan of the Beatles. He tells me repeatedly about this movie where the guy, it came out a few years ago, where the guy, like the world changes and he's the only one who remembers the Beatles songs and everybody thinks he wrote them. You heard of that movie?
I've heard of that one.
My dad's told me about that several times.
Several times. You want to know why? Because he has nothing other than that.
That's right. That's all his Beatles content. Yeah.
He's malnourished.
There's that. And then there's the documentary where they're on the roof or whatever, which I've never watched. I think that's very long. Yeah, I guess you could be right. You could be right. And the Beatles fans, you got to release these before, we are getting to the point. Paul McCartney, Ringo's still alive too, but they're getting pretty old. They need to be alive to see this, to see these movies about their lives.
That way they can either dispute them or they can be backing them.
Right. I believe that this is signed off, like the Beatles members signed off on this, their families, their states, whatever. Also, I'm not clear. They're going to theaters, but this is also Apple, so I think it's going to Apple TV Plus at some point as well. So that makes it a little less of an undertaking for you to watch them all. Because going to the movies for most people, do they go to the movies 4 times in 1 year? Probably not.
For the Beatles,
for the majority, for the Beatles, you will. All right, now question: who do you think should play each member of the Beatles?
Oh,
because I have the perfect answer.
Do you? I have a pretty good one too.
Okay,
I've got
go for it.
Adam Sandler Kevin James,
Yeah.
David Spade, and Chris Rock. Bring them all back.
Great. That's great. I was going to say Jason Schwartzman as Ringo, Justin Long as George, Jack Black as Paul McCartney, and most important of all, Paul Rudd as John Legend.
A walk hard reunion.
John Lennon. Yeah, that is the way to go. I would watch those movies.
What about this?
Uh-huh.
Jack Black plays all four.
Yes, do it. Now you're talking.
Either him or Adam Sandler just plays everybody.
All of a sudden, they just became watchable, these movies, to me.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Isaiah and I have a topic. We're each going to make 3 picks, trying to choose the best team from the topic, the most fitting team from the topic. And then it's up to you to let us know which of us came up with a better team and which picks we missed. We're doing this snake draft style. It's my turn to pick first, and today's topic is the worst places to be stuck waiting. And I'll tell you, when we first came up with this idea, I was a little nervous. I had a couple of vague ideas in mind, but now after thinking about it strongly here for a few minutes, I'm feeling real good. And so I'm going to kick things off with the worst place to be stuck waiting, anywhere with your girlfriend's dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anywhere with your girlfriend's dad.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
Strong start.
Yeah. Real awkward. Real awkward.
Love that one for you.
Thank you.
I'll follow that up. The bathroom line when you really have to pee.
You kind of stole one of mine there.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Don't even need to say more.
I was going to say stoplight when you have to pee.
That's a good one, too. And then my next
Strike
pick,
that one off.
a concert line. You're outside of the venue, and you hear the headliner coming on.
Ooh. That's pretty brutal.
They're doing that big entrance, whatever like their big song is. They're like revving it up. The crowd's getting crazy. And you're on the outside. You see the lights like popping off inside. You're looking from over people's shoulders, trying to be able to see from outside the venue. And you're just mad at your wife. You're like, why are we running behind?
It's all your fault. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, I was going to go at a stoplight when you have to pee, but I think that's too close to your bathroom line one. So instead, I will move on to my next pick, which was in the Taco Bell drive-thru after midnight.
That's a long line.
And the Taco Bell drive-thrus, I don't know why they construct them like this, but they all have that barrier so that you can't leave.
You can't escape.
Every other drive-thru lets you leave. I was going to also say Steak and Shake because they're also notorious. They're open 24/7, but you at least can leave their drive-thru line if you feel like you've waited too long. Taco Bell, nope, you're stuck there until they decide to one day move things along. The one employee inside decides to stop smoking whatever they're smoking and make some food. That sucks. And then I have to move on to my next pick, which I guess, this is tough. I'm going to say, not that I've experienced this, but I know this is bad, for an Uber after you've had too much to drink and like you've ruined the night out for everybody.
Ew.
Yeah, you're throwing up and it's like, we're going to have to get you a ride home.
Oh,
you got
no.
the spins. Sounds
like a horrible end
That
of
probably
your
should have
night.
been higher on the list, actually.
My final one,
Yeah.
I'm going to go on the runway.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
sitting on a plane. The worst. It's not so bad. I had this happen to me recently. It's not so bad when you've landed and you're waiting because you know that you're so close. Like, you know that once, like, they're like, we're waiting for a gate to open up, and then, like, you get off. But when you're waiting to just take off, like, you get on the plane, you know you have 3 hours of flight ahead of you. You're already feeling, like, the terribleness that it feels to be on a plane. And then you're stuck on the runway. It's been 15 minutes. You haven't even taken off yet.
Yeah.
You're running way behind.
The
Oh, it's
pilot keeps
worst.
lying to you.
He's like, we're going to be taking off here in 5 minutes. And then it's been 20 minutes, and you're like, our flight landing time is completely different now. Hate that one. On the runway.
All right. So in the worst places to be stuck waiting draft, I have anywhere with your girlfriend's dad. in the Taco Bell drive-thru late at night, and for an Uber after you've had too much to drink and you've ruined the night out for everybody. Isaiah, you have
the bathroom line when you really have to pee, a concert line when you hear the headliner coming out and you're not inside, and then on the runway.
8772 Radio U, who came up with a, I guess, worse team. And which picks did we miss? I've got a few honorable mentions that we have to bring up too coming up.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
The worst places to be stuck waiting. I had the first pick. I went with anywhere with your girlfriend's dad, followed by late night at the Taco Bell drive-thru, and if you've had too much to drink, you've ruined the night out, and you need an Uber. Isaiah, you went with
the bathroom line when you really have to pee, a concert line outside the venue, and you hear the headliner coming out. And my last one was on the runway.
People chiming in. Actually, Justin, before you even, I saw the text. It came in before you even said on the runway.
Beautiful.
Justin also said, when you're waiting in a plane on the runway and you haven't made it to the other airport where you have a connecting flight with a short layover window.
You're in danger.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Also, Philip with an honorable mention here. Elevator. I've never been stuck in an elevator, but I can imagine that not a lot of fun. Susanna says she's voting for you for the bathroom line. But she did point out it's worse if you have diarrhea. Thank you, Susanna.
That is worse.
She also said you missed the stoplight when you're running late.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, when it's something important.
Because then it feels like it's forever.
Yeah, it takes even longer. Regina says, I don't think I've ever been in a Taco Bell drive-thru that you can't escape from. What kind of craziness do you have going on up there? And she also says she's voting for you. She can't relate to mine. And she hates being trapped when you gotta pee. The Taco Bell drive-thrus, many of them, and I've seen many, and I've experienced this several times, they have like a little concrete barrier, like the height of a sidewalk, on the outside edge of the drive-thru that seems specifically designed just to keep you there when you try to get food overnight and the line's not moving. Because what other purpose could that possibly serve? And Taco Bell's not the only restaurant with that, but it's the only one that's open late that has it, where you can't escape. But I guess your Taco Bells just don't have that. Amanda says, concert line and the show's already started, so she's voting for you. She says she's lived that one at Warped Tour too many times.
More than once, and it sounds like that's got to be your own fault.
Yeah, that's right. Sarah says waiting in traffic on the highway and you can't get out is the worst. Oh, what if waiting in traffic in the highway and you need gas?
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, the gas light is on. Been there a few times. That's nerve-wracking.
Sarah also said my son, who is sick today, says waiting in the lunch line for pizza is the worst.
Yeah.
You're starving.
Patience is a
all
virtue.
the good pieces. When you get up there, will there even be pizza?
Oh, what if you're in the line and all the pepperoni's gone?
Oh, it's just cheese.
Yeah, or just cheese. Cheese is gone too, and it's only sausage.
Oh.
No. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Other ones that I considered, one of them was, of course, just in traffic and you're running behind. Another one, the DMV. You walk into the DMV.
Ooh, yeah.
And you're trying to get your license renewed, whatever it is, and you walk in there and there's a horribly long line.
Yeah.
And you sit down. That's going to be one of the most depressing places I've ever been.
I just appreciate that you called it the DMV. So many Ohioans call it the BMV.
I know it has a couple different names.
Throws me off. I have a couple from growing up, a couple waiting for your mom to pick you up. This one, very specific. Maybe nobody else has experienced this. Waiting for your mom to pick you up after the sleepover goes wrong.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I didn't pee the bed or anything like that, but I did in my very first sleepover need to get picked up. That was no good.
And then you're, waiting awkwardly for 30 minutes before your mom gets there?
Yet again, a friend of mine's dad. The dads being involved always makes me uncomfortable. Also, waiting for your mom to pick you up. This is very similar, actually. After your Little League game gets rained out, and you're sitting there and the coach can't leave until you get picked up, but mom had to go run and do some other errand, so she dropped you off at the game. She'll pick you up after, then the game gets rained out. That's uncomfortable.
I also remember a day when I got in trouble at school. I had to call home to my mom and dad, and it was a horrible day waiting for them to pick me up from school because I knew what I had coming for me at home. It was not fun.
Yeah, that's no good.
The anxiety I lived there. It's like a third grader.
Yeah. Phil says the ER. I guess so. Yeah,
True.
I guess that kind of does jump near the top of the list. I also thought this one's nowhere near, definitely compared to the ER, nowhere near as bad. But when you're waiting for the microwave when you're hungry in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And you want to stop it from beeping so it doesn't wake anybody up or anything. That's another good one. This is a good Choice Champions draft. I like this one a lot. A lot of difficult situations to imagine yourself in. And somehow it seems that I've won.
Do yourself a favor and follow The Riot on Instagram at RadioU Riot.
I got something here I just learned. I wish I knew this before I bought my last car. I have a guy on TikTok who says he has the perfect answer to a question that you are no doubt going to get asked if you're going to buy a car. One of the things a salesman will assuredly say is, what would you like your monthly payment to be? But according to this guy, Zach, whose expertise comes from his dad, who worked as a car salesman for about 40 plus years, Zach says what you need to do is say, I'm not concerned with the monthly payment. I'm only focused on the total out the door price. And no matter how the salesman pushes you in a direction of wanting to get your monthly budget out of you, what you need to do is stand firm and say, I'm more concerned about the out the door price, and I'll figure out how to pay for it after that.
Because he's suggesting that if you give them a number for a monthly payment, then you'll end up paying more than you have to.
Yes, they will hide. It's easier for them to hide additional charges to upcharge you basically in a monthly payment than it is for them if you just say, I have a budget of, say, $12,000 total. I want to buy this car for $12,000 total, or I want to buy a car for $12,000 total, for example. Then they can't upcharge you and actually, kind of coerce you without you even realizing into paying more than you intended to.
A horrible situation for the likes of me and you, because I know we've discussed before.
Yeah.
You, at least I don't believe you're much of a haggler.
No, I crumble under the pressure of having to
So do
haggle.
I.
I'm much too
hate
polite.
It.
Yeah.
I am too. Some people are good at that. They'll just say no.
Yeah. What's funny is I can stand strong on a stupid opinion. You can press me on that all day, and I will find a way to defend it. But you start asking me to, to haggle with you to, in my best interest, get myself to pay less money, and I can't do it.
For me, it's not even. It sometimes isn't even haggling. It's like a subscription service. I'm like talking to somebody on the phone or in person. They're like, well, it would make sense for you to actually go to level 2. And I'm like, really? You think I need level 2? They're like, I was planning on level 1. And they're like, no, you need level 2. And I'm like, well, if you say so, then I guess we're doing level 2. And I'm paying $30 more a month.
Yeah. I can't even do this. This is one of the easiest things to do. Anybody who's smart does this. And that is pick up the phone, call your internet company, and threaten to leave every once a year. And if you do that, they will assuredly eventually offer to lower your price or bundle out something else in at the same price you're already paying because they don't want you to leave. I can't even do that. I can't threaten, even though I know the exact tree of how it will go. I just keep saying, no, that's not good enough. No, that's not good enough until they finally give me what I want. I have all of the leverage there. And I can't even do that. So this is good advice from this guy. I wish I knew this before. His dad, he worked as a car salesman for, he says, basically his entire adult life. And they've actually posted a bunch of tips. If you Google Car Edge cheat sheet, it should come up for when you're buying a car, how to make sure you're not getting duped or, oversold, paying too much, whatever. And that's all these tips are helpful, but to actually put them into practice is is the difficult thing for
Are
you.
you man enough? Face to
Yeah,
face. Can you do it? I cannot.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's why I'm poor.
You don't always have to agree with Isaiah to always disagree with Hudson. The Riot. Radio U.
It's time for Love 'em or Leave 'em on the Riot. You guys give us the scenario in which you're wondering, should you be loving them or leaving them? And we help you navigate the windy turnpike of love. This one here, a girlfriend is confused with her boyfriend's reaction to a gift that she got him. So essentially the scenario, her boyfriend came down with a nasty flu. He's feeling very sick. This is a longer distance relationship. They do not live together. So she went ahead and sent him a care package. Like tissues, soup, some Advil.
Yeah.
And she let him know that like a gift was coming.
Yeah.
The gift arrives. He doesn't say anything about it. She said, "Did you receive the gift?" And he said, "Yeah." And so she kind of thought, well, he's kind of just feeling sick, so she'll like wish him a good night and we'll talk about it tomorrow. And the boyfriend ended up telling the girlfriend that he felt as if it was not a gift at all. And it was very weird that she would send him these items.
Okay.
Even though he's sick.
Yeah.
And so the girlfriend is now obviously very confused.
Yeah. She thought she was doing something nice.
But boyfriend thinks it's a weird care package.
All right. So love the sick guy or leave him. 8772 Radio U if you want to chime in with some advice for this couple. I'll tell you, instant reaction. It seems like what she did was pretty nice. Feels like the guy maybe should be a little more grateful. But, you know, being sick, it messes with your mind a little bit too. So maybe that could play a role.
I feel as if he's horrible. I mean, this feels like an obvious just leave him. Like, this is no doubt for me.
Yeah. Well, let's think about it. Let's get some different perspectives, perhaps. And maybe there's something we're not seeing at first. 8772 Radio U. Gal sends her long distance boyfriend a care package because he's sick, full of items you would want when you're sick. He's not appreciative. What do we do? 8772 Radio U. We'll see what people are saying next and love them or leave them.
Add a little Riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at Radio U Official. The Riot. Radio U.
We have tons of listeners ready to chime in for this love them or leave them to help make dating a little easier. Isaiah, what is the Cliff's Notes version of this love them or leave them?
Girlfriend is upset because her boyfriend was very sick. She mailed him a nice little care package with tissues and soup and Advil. Pretty much just all the things that you would want when you're sick.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend, not appreciative of this gift. He felt that it was weird. He didn't know what to say. I think thank you would have been nice. But he didn't know what to say. And the girlfriend now felt very embarrassed and was questioning if she should have sent the care package at all, as the boyfriend is reacting so negatively towards it because he said it felt like a weird gift to receive and almost not even a gift at all.
Oh, the texts are rolling in. The response, including Todd, who says, a defiant leave him. If he can't appreciate the gift, then he doesn't deserve her. Also, Jim, on a similar page, saying, leave the self-centered, good-for-nothing, unappreciative, sick person. What was he expecting? A personal caregiver?
Leave him.
Kimberly says, leave him. He was lying about being, her gut says he was lying about being sick and why he was unappreciative of the care package. That's her thoughts, is that he wasn't sick the entire time.
I love it.
That's an interesting take for sure. Jason says, my wife is constantly buying me things that I know I secretly that she wants them as much. Sorry, that she
You're
wants
killing this.
or more than I do, but I never. It never. I just can't read it.
I'll read it.
Yeah, go
My
ahead.
wife is constantly buying me things that I know she secretly wants more than I do,
Yeah.
but it never bothers me because I am grateful and that I have someone that wants to share things with me,
Yeah.
especially because she loves me. He says dumper.
Now we have a different take though from Rosa, who says that in his mind the suit might not be a girlfriend thing. It's a mom thing, which could explain why he found it to be strange and awkward. So he might feel like that could explain. It's not that he's unappreciative. It's just that it doesn't feel like this is a girlfriend thing to do to him. And so that might explain why it was awkward.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can see that. See, I thought there was angles that we might not get, but still, it still feels like a thank you. Like he could still understand that a thank you would be nice.
I've never received a gift and not said thank you.
Yeah.
Or been appreciative, even if I didn't get the gift, even if someone got me something ridiculous, because I was like, I will never use this.
Mm-hmm.
I would never not say thank you. Or be appreciative that they got you anything anyway.
Yeah.
And so for me, even if the only way that I think that this person can think it's weird, and even if you think it's weird, you should still say thank you. But if you had only went on one date with the girl, if you had started just talking to them and they got you this care package, that could be considered weird, but I still would say thank you.
Yeah.
But for them to be in a relationship,
They're in a relationship.
dating.
It's a close enough a relationship that it's long distance, so they've decided to try to make it work long distance wise. That's serious enough where he should be able to say thank you and that it wouldn't be completely out of the blue to receive something like this. It does sound like if she said, I sent you a gift, and he receives Advil and tissues, that doesn't feel gifty, but you still say thank you.
That feels like a gift.
It doesn't feel gifty. It's like
Advil and tissues.
if somebody said gift.
She mailed them to him from who knows how far away. That's a gift. If you get a care package, that's a gift.
But I will say, this is, again, so often my advice when we do love him or leave him, is that for it to even be an issue, if she really wanted to leave him, she would have just left him. She wouldn't have had this wouldn't be a dilemma. So I say, you want to give him a fair chance. You got to have a conversation about it. You can't just keep on staying in so ask why you think it's weird. Why? I need to know more. If you can't tell me more, then I think this is it for us.
Susanna says similarly, I think they need some communication on why he thinks it's weird. D says, don't leave him. He's just clueless. Brian, love him, but he needs to know that a gift doesn't always have cash value. She was just trying to do her part. Chad says, I think we know his love language isn't gift giving or receiving gifts. And then Jeffrey says, for the guy to have a weird feeling about this, it would have to be a pretty strange gift. Otherwise, he may just not get it. People are different. People need to learn to open their perspectives. If something as small as this is to leave someone over, then marriage and the dating scene may not be for you.
I like that.
Laura said that's rude of him. Gift might not have been the right word for the care package of essentials, but he's completely disregarding the thoughts, sentiment, and effort behind it. Not a fan of him. And Regina says, cue the, oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
What a jerk. Who wants to worry about going to the store when you're sick? Such a thoughtful gift.
I would say I feel like we haven't helped this gal at all because we've given such wide array of options. But then again, now she has some different perspectives. Now she can put herself in his shoes a little bit, and hopefully at least that helps.
Yeah, and that can show her that he should have said thank you.
Yeah, at the least.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.